People come in your life in seasons, and everything that happens is for a reason. These were words written by French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. No, I'm just with you. It's Kanye West. This isn't an anti-Semitic video. In fact, I just purchased Summit Ice's no logo hoodie. Despite the controversy, Ye was spitting bars when he said this. And it made me okay with the fact that I was a self-contained narcissist who was blaming external circumstances on my relationships failing instead of taking responsibilities for my own actions. Or in other words, just saying, it is what it is, cuh. I recently went on a road trip to Banff and Jasper with my older brother. Last time I was here, I fell for a girl pretty hard. Like, I passed by the road where we held hands for the first time. You know, I was doing some elementary school shit. The time before that, I was on my training trip as a tour guide watching someone do a shoey. And I met people who I thought I made lifelong friendships with, and now I don't even know what's happening in their lives. And this whole concept of losing friendships, it makes me think back on my entire life. I mean, whatever happened to Josh, who jailbroke my iPod in grade 4? Or Billiam? Did he ever end up going to the military and making his mother proud? Or Elizabeth? Was she lying about her IUD? Do I have a Joseph Jr. out there? These people, they were in my life for a season. To be honest, I thought some of them were gonna last a lifetime. I really thought jailbreaking our iPods together was a really big bonding moment. Like we were like criminals on the run. And it makes me wonder, why did every single one of these relationships only last for a season? What is the common denominator? Obviously it's me, I'll admit it. I mean, it's simple math. To be completely fair, I was an asshole. I used to only care about me. I mean, look at this tattoo. You can't get more narcissistic than that. Whenever I got into an argument with someone, I was right. I was never listening to what you had to say. I was just waiting for my turn to speak. Then when I got the chance to speak, I would just yell my arguments until I got my point across. Ultimately, this is the reason why a lot of my relationships ended. It took me years, but I had the mental clarity to realize that I was the problem. I know, shocker. I broke those bad habits and learned to be a better person. During the trip, my brother and I had a podcast where we discussed the theme of this topic of people coming in your life in seasons.
This is me at a point where I realize that the people in my life, if I want to keep them around, I have to understand my value in their lives and what I do for them. Because if I start slacking, if I do anything that, doesn't correlate or align with them, they're not going to want to keep me in their lives. I've lost friendships because of that. And I never realized that maybe it was me. And I always thought throughout the years, I was like, it's them. They left because they're rude and they just never cared. I'm sure they cared. They were my friends for a reason,
Yeah.
But it was probably me. And I gotta start fixing up that shit if I don't want anyone else to leave my life. That's the thing. When we say like people are here for a reason, I've had friends that I thought would stay for a lifetime, right? But they only stayed for a season.
I am Zoltar, the Great Gypsy. Listen carefully, for I am about to tell you your fortune. Even small choices will affect who you will become. Life is but an endless series of little details, actions, speeches, and thoughts. And the consequences, whether good or bad, of even the least of them are so far-reaching.
If you don't change, you push the good people out of your life. You sit there alone, no friends. The only healthy relationship you have is with your right hand on the hub. I mean, you being a piece of shit can be one reason why your relationships are ending, but another reason could be your interests change. I mean, I used to know life Call of Duty. I would cuss people out in the lobbies, not shower for like 4 days straight, and I would be eating Hungry Man in my mother's basement. But there just comes a time where you just outgrow these interests, or your friends outgrow them. I couldn't stand to play another quick-scope, no-scope game. This past summer, I was deeply into comedy. I'd bomb every night on stage.
Shout out to the ones who dad forgot to pick them up at basketball practice and had to walk home in the rain. No, just me.
And I made a lot of friends, but now I don't talk to any of them. And currently right now, I'm really into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But who knows, maybe that interest might change, and I'm sure I'm going to outgrow those relationships as well. I'm predicting the reason I'm going to outgrow BJJ is because I'm going to get ringworm from having a man sweat all over me. So I was in the bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror, flexing like a douche, and I just did BJJ today. Please God, tell me this ain't ringworm, bro. Yo, this is actually fucked. There's no animosity towards these people. It's just that your interest fades, and these relationships tend to fade along with it. The last reason that I can think of why people come in your life in seasons is because of external circumstances. This brings me back to my Banff and Jasper trip. There's nothing quite like traveling. You're on a heightened sense of adventure because there's a level of excitement and uncertainty that's in the air. Now we'll combine that with meeting someone who happens to be traveling at the same place, the same time, at this part of their life. Call it corny as fuck, but it's like destiny. It's truly an experience that you cannot replicate. You may travel with them for a day, a week, a month, but when the trip's over, when it's time to come back to reality, you depart. The ride is over. I have had deep relationships with the people I met while I was traveling. I mean, that was the one con of being a tour guide. Besides the shit pay, you built these relationships with people where you knew it was gonna end. If that's not a form of torture, I don't know what is. I mean, that should rank like right after waterboarding. I know I'm not suffocating, but I'm getting all choked up, saying goodbye to my travelers. It's sad. It's emotional torture. I've had so many friendships in my lifetime where I've built a deep connection with them, and now they're just gone. It's hard for me to get emotional about it because my mindset is itty wood itty trying to have this emotional mass so no one really knows who I am. But I have a deep nostalgia for every single relationship and every single friendship I've had in my entire life. I'm a huge optimist, and there was a point where I truly believed that these relationships would last a lifetime, but they only lasted a season.
Chaotic.
And then the day came and I lost him. And one of the last things he had told me was that I felt like you weren't my best friend for a long time. And that broke my heart because I didn't know that's how he felt. Because I always felt like he was my best friend no matter what. Even if we didn't talk for a few months or whatnot, like he was always there. And then when that happened, I was like, damn, you can really lose people.
I'm going to be going back home in 2 weeks, and I'm going to see the people who I believe will be in my life forever. But you never know what the future holds. The only advice I got is love the people in your life as deeply as possible. And don't be a dickhead, because you never know who's going to be there for a reason, a season, or a one-night stand. Stay on average, fools.
I guess that is how life works. People come in and out of your lives. You feel like they can be there for longer than a season, but sometimes they're just only meant to be there for a season. You don't realize that they're only meant to be there for a season because in that moment you truly do believe that they're going to be there forever. But then things get in the way where life happens, fights happen, disagreements. You move somewhere, you lose that connection, anything can happen, right? That's something I needed to really take in and learn that, maybe he was just here for a season.
Iri wari ka shi